Hi there, Dead Ideal Boy here, back with another video, and this time we are jumping into Daily Race A, the meme race. It's SSRX Special Stage Route X, a track, believe it or not, that I have never really raced that I can remember. I may have done it once or twice. I genuinely can't ever remember doing a daily race on this track. I have always just avoided it or watched the utter carnage. But since this week there is no DRSR on this race, we thought why not give it a go, see what madness is out there. So having never raced it before, I thought it's very important to jump in, do a warm up. I thought, yeah, crucial, better get to know the track, understand the layout, we've got a couple of corners to deal with, mainly turning right, but we'll see how we get on. The other thing is, we've got someone we know pretty well in front of us in the form of Reserve Driver, aka Doubtinator. Now, he was actually live streaming this race at the time, so there's a little bit of pressure on the race. I literally hadn't turned a wheel, and I decided I would jump straight into a race. So, apparently the strategy was pick the Mercedes and hope for the best. Well, that's what I believe the strategy was, but we'll soon find out that there's a little bit more to this race than meets the eye. The Mercedes is by far the car of choice. I don't really know the reasons why at this point, because I just jumped in, looked at the leaderboard, saw what the most popular car was, and yeah, went with that. And while you watch this race begin, you can help me in a big way by subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button, all that good stuff. It's very, very much appreciated as we try get to 6,500 subscribers. It would be a massive achievement to even get that far. It would be beyond my wildest dreams, but yeah, you have the power to make those dreams happen. Anyway, enough of the rambling. Here we are now P9 heading forward up to P8. We're just going to try and sit in the slipstream of Reserve Driver. We're going to assume he knows what he's doing, so we'll just try and copy him. That seems like a good idea, doesn't it? I did then notice in the bottom right hand corner that there was a nitrous symbol, so that threw up the added element of when to use this, and also the added element of which button this was actually mapped on my steering wheel. So yeah, you might see the view changing a few times at some points because I was frantically trying to work out where it was, but I found it. Look at it going red. We just decided we would use it a little bit there, bump ourselves forward, catch up a little bit. I honestly don't know how and when to use the nitrous at this point, but I would figure it out eventually. But anyway, I did realise though, staying in the slipstream was absolutely crucial, and you can see there's literally nothing in it. We are in P8 and we're less than half a second behind the leader, but there is the point where this race goes dramatically wrong for me. After a minute and a half of racing quite comfortably, out of nowhere there's a car against the wall and we make some serious contact with it. So yeah, nothing I could do about that at 250 plus miles an hour. Yeah, a 4-second penalty seems a bit harsh, but well, I mean, I did smash into the back of someone at 250 miles an hour, so yeah, what are you going to do? So, as frustrating as that was, we were somehow still with the pack, although we had used half our nitros now by this point, trying to catch up with them again. But I had to make a call at this point. I knew my race was effectively over with a 4-second penalty, so what I decided at this point was I was going to dedicate and basically throw myself on the line to help our friend Reserve Driver and try and see him home to a glorious victory. But that was going to require me catching up with the pack, finding him and trying to bump him along, and we've only got just about a minute and a half to achieve all of those things. So we've still got some nitro left and we're catching back up, but at this point I can't actually see where Reserve Driver is because, well, we're all using the same car, so it's just a bit of a guess. Lots of British flags ahead, so could be any one of these, but then I see him popping out to the right there, along with a few others, so I decide I'll join that slipstream train, but I somehow need to get round these cars to get onto the back of him, and he's just kind of weaving in and out there, but there he is. We've spotted him, we've used our nitro, and we're going to go round and in behind him and give him a nice big boost. You can see there, that bumps him along nicely. Now, I need to get back on the nitros there to give him another final boost, and that is me. I am spent. My race is run, and with about 30 seconds of the race now remaining, it's all down to reserve driver, and well, it's in his hands now. You can see he's got a really good opportunity as he hugs the inside line there. We are now going to get absolutely swamped by the pack. Basically, we've sacrificed ourselves. Our race is run. Somebody else actually has got a bigger penalty than us, bizarrely enough. Maybe they were involved in the same incident, but that's us. Our race is run, so we just need to keep an eye on the leaderboard to see if reserve driver can hold it. And by this point I just thought, well, what's it like to smash a car into a pit wall at 260 odd miles an hour? And pretty much that is what it feels like. So reversing into the pits, we're going to try and cross the pit line, you know, with a little bit of Austin Powers style turning amongst the pit wall there. But yep, across the line we're going to go. We're going to finish a glorious, inglorious P11 on our first attempt. A race that, well, was kind of sadly taken out of our hands by that horrific 4-second penalty caused by someone just appearing from a wall at 250 miles an hour. But there we go. Race 1 is out the way. We've kind of got a feel for it now. We know the car we're using. We kind of know there's a bit of strategy involved with regards to the nitros, when to use it, all that stuff like that, you know. So there is proper strategy here. Probably more strategy than there is in race C this week, but there you go. So I decided we're going to have another crack at this. We want to win, and we're going to set a qualifying time, because that's surely the difference between, you know, 1st and 11th, but not necessarily. We'll cross the line anyway. We do a 4:26.9, good enough for the top 500 in the world. It just shows you how many people are setting times on this race this week. But into race number 2 we go, and we have a few familiar, well, we've got one very familiar face. We've got Flash Dagger and P7 in this race, so that's going to have an added element of teamwork. We've got someone we know, we trust, was actually streaming at the time, and yeah, we thought let's see if we can bring the stream home a little victory. That would be a nice little sort of, well, it would top off a difficult few races for me if we could somehow get some glory on this. But we see right away somebody not using the Mercedes. It's a Russian in a Bugatti, absolutely storming out to the front, going past us like we weren't even moving, but we'll work with them, try and build up a gap. Can we possibly just break away from the field? It's a bold strategy. There's about half a second behind us of a gap, but it's coming down rapidly, so the pack behind are now working in unison to close that gap. So we're going to just stick behind the Bugatti and see where it takes us. Now we get a massive boost there behind from the Spaniard Mario Soler, so that just propels us out into P1. So it's all on us now to lead the way, I suppose, and see what happens from there. But the Russian, see, he just kind of manages to slip back into P2 behind us, and it all kind of settles back down again after that. So it's all good again. We can relax, not got much to think about in terms of cornering or anything like that. We can just take our lines and see where it takes us. The whole thing here is, will the rest of the pack be compliant? Will somebody break away? And you can see in the radar somebody has broken away, and up the inside they go, but they must have used quite a lot of their boost in order to make that move. So that's the kind of strategy element of this. But they've created another train here, so we've now got, if you look at the radar, we've got 2 trains running, and you kind of pick the train that you think is going to be the winner. Now we've managed to kind of filter in behind the Irishman. Look, we have a little bit of contact with the wall, but it doesn't actually impact us. In fact, we're going to get a little boost forward. We're going to have to use look to kind of bump draft forward, because we're certainly not in the biggest of the two trains now, so we have to kind of watch what's happening either side of us. We've got a couple of different cars actually. We've got a Pagani on the inside of us now, and that's going to be what we need to look out for here, because you can see here Flash is now up to P6 and he's going to just go slightly past us, and we get sandwiched in the middle unceremoniously there. And now we are in a very risky position. Myself and Flash are absolutely neck and neck, and Flash gets into the train and so does the Spaniard, kind of. But we are now we're running the risk that we're going to get shoved out. As you can see here, we get bumped to the side there, basically just telling me there's no room for me, and we get kind of shoved out. But thankfully the train comes over to the right as somebody else decides to shove us out the way, so we're now in trouble. But we've still got a chance. We're still in the race. We've still got all our boost left, so I'm still holding out some hope, as there's about a minute of this race left and there's a lot that can happen. So we're now in the main train. You can see there's a splinter group breaking off to the left. Do we join that one? We are going to join that one, and we're going to unfortunately leave, is it Dirty in the Nissan out to the right there, and it's now just became a big sort of free-for-all as we head up to the final corner. But we've got all our boost to go, and we're going to go for it. We've timed it pretty well. We've past Flash on the right hand side, but just look at the radar here. You're going to see Flash gets a little nudge there, and he gets a bit out of shape, connects with our back quarter panel and sends us into a horrific spin. Completely accidental. Flash also went flying into the wall, but we're left facing the wrong way again, and yeah, bit of a nightmare as we cross the line once again in P11. So we've just proved that starting in P9 doesn't work, and starting in P1 doesn't necessarily work. P11, forget it. We're going to go better than that. We can do this. That is the mantra for this race. So starting P2 this time, and we're going to skip right forward because it was a very, very disciplined race, this final race. We stayed in our train, we jostled for position a little bit, but for the most part we were all very, very disciplined heading up to the final turn, which was the second turn of the race. But like I said, very, very disciplined, and we're going to just keep in that train. You can see we've got Flash Dagger in P2, so we've got an ally if we need it, and we've got Phil, the fellow Brit, in P1 now. There's going to be moves to be made here, and we're going to just have a little look to see if we can get any sort of a run. Looking at the radar, there's basically 6 of us, as horns start to be absolutely blasted for some reason. But yeah, we're looking at 6 of us here jostling for the win. There's a tenth of a second, separating 6 cars. This is incredible stuff as we head up the turn, or the final turn. So we've now got 2 trains, and we are going to go for it. We're going to make the move up the inside of Flash, and we've got the boost. We're going to time it now. We're going to go for this. So here we go. It's between me and the Spaniard. Surely we've got enough boost, because we haven't used any. So unless he hasn't used any, then we've got a really good chance here. And you can see here we hit the front. We're heading for glory here. You can see in the radar there though that Phil has made an unbelievable move, dash down the inside. Where he's found this extra speed, I do not know, but we're now neck and neck. We're heading towards the line. Surely it is ours to lose, and across the line we go. Did we do it? No, we didn't. We got P2. Can you believe it? P2. 5,000ths of a second. That's all that separated us from glory. Now watch the replay of this. Now this is where we made our move, and I actually thought we couldn't lose at this point, because we had the run here and we're going to get a nice little tap in the back there from Phil. Now he must have got a little tap, because he just dives down the inside and he's got all this extra speed that he's carrying, and I'm maxing out my boost and absolute top speed. Now he's reached top speed at this point. It's all about whose boost is going to last, but it looks like we've got exactly the same amount of boost left. Now, I'm going to skip this forward and slow-mo this down until we cross the line, because look at the leaderboard there. The checker flag is out. It's at my name. And there we go. We've won the race. P1. It's the win, the video was all about getting that win. But then, if we actually go down and look at it from the photo point of view, it looks like Phil is actually more over the line than we are. And as we cross the line, it switches back and reverts Phil to the winner. So, yeah. Absolute disappointment to end there, but the racing was tremendous. So if you haven't tried Daily Race A on this combination, try it. There's nothing to lose. As you see, an absolute wipe out there. There's nothing to lose. Do it. There's no DRSR. It's just an absolute fun race. It can be a bit chaotic, but it's worth it. Just give it a try. You'll have fun. Yeah. But I had fun. I didn't think I would, but I did. So once again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for liking, hitting the subscribe button, all of that good stuff. It's much appreciated. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, if you're new here, then please hit that subscribe button. And yeah, we'll see you all on the next one. Goodbye.